start, may I ask everyone to be extremely silent for a moment, please?
Alright, did anybody hear that?
Yes.
That was the silence of a Tesla. Welcome to the 2015 the Dallas Auto Show. Today, we will talk to you about why your next vehicle should be a Tesla. Today, our presenters are myself, a mechanical engineer, Eric Medina. We have automotive financial analyst, Iman Yaraf. And to start things off, we're going to have our mechanical engineer, Rafael Lujan, and start with features and specs.
Hello everyone, my name is Rafael Lujan again. I'm a mechanical engineer with Tesla Motors Company, and this is my 7th year in the automotive industry. So, the main issue with most electric vehicles that everyone usually thinks about is the driving range. People think that electrical vehicles aren't as reliable or as fast or whatever the reason as a gas-powered vehicle. The first electric vehicle that the world saw was actually the General Motors EV1. This was a vehicle that was sold in the late 90s and advertised a driving range of 160 miles per charge. This is what the actual vehicle looked like. The advertised range doesn't seem too bad for the time it was developed, but the fact of the matter is that consumers actually reported that you could actually only get 70 miles of driving range on a perfect, windless day. The project ended up being canceled by General Motors, and whenever the leased cars were returned to the company, General Motors decided that they had lost too much money and decided to crush the program. So for those of you who don't know, this is what a Tesla Model S looks like. It's pretty easy on the eyes, pretty nice car for any individual or family, and is offered with 2 battery options. You could have an 85 kilowatt hour battery or a 60 kilowatt hour battery. The larger battery supplies around 265 miles of driving range in accordance with the Environmental Protection Agency's 5-cycle test. The smaller battery provides about 208 miles per charge. For those who are interested in even further range, there is an available dual motor option that maximizes the driving range to about 295 miles per charge. So, just like in gas-powered vehicles, electric vehicles' driving range is also critically affected by your driving habits. So this is talking about, are you driving on a SID in the city? Are you driving in the freeway? Are you blasting the AC? Are you taking off hard from red lights, slamming the brakes, etc.? Tesla Model S is also equipped with the best in-class aerodynamics and regenerative braking to maximize driving range. Regenerative braking is pretty much just, it's similar to traditional braking, which causes, well actually it's better than traditional braking because it actually sends the electric motor in a reverse mode. When the electric motor is in reverse mode, it acts as an electric generator, which actually supplies the batteries with extra energy that could have been wasted. In traditional braking systems, the brake orders cause friction to slow the vehicle down, and as for customers' comfort, these cars are also equipped with a traditional braking system in case you need more than the regenerative braking power that comes with the vehicle. So now let's talk about charging the battery. As you can see here, this is a Tesla Model S, and it basically shows you where the charging port is located, and you can charge it in the comfort of your own home. Tesla Motors recommends installing a 240 volt outlet to charge the vehicle. They're not like these regular 120 volt outlets you see here. They're the slightly bigger ones that help power large appliances such as refrigerators and anything of that size in your home. Each hour of charge that you leave the vehicle on with provides 29 miles of range. So let's say, for example, you get home and you park the car for the night. If it stays charging for about 6 hours, you should have about 174 miles of driving range for the next day, which is typically more than enough for one's daily commute. For an additional cost, Tesla Motors does offer a dual charger option that basically just adds another charger to the other side of the car And as you probably can infer, this cuts the charging time in half. Another issue with electric vehicles is that people think that they can't have the amenity of a road trip. With the Tesla Model S, road trips have been made possible. The main reason that they've been made possible is due to these wonderful supercharging stations that Tesla Motors has invested in. These supercharging stations are very similar to your typical gas station. You pull in and you hook up the Tesla's adapter into your car, and you get out to stretch, eat lunch, or shop, whatever. These supercharging stations are all around points of interest like that. So another cool thing about the supercharging station is that it actually charges the car much faster than your home charger. A supercharger can charge the battery to 50% in a short 20 minutes or 80% in 40 minutes, all for free. Supercharging stations are strategically placed based on common travel routes and customer demand. This is a map of where supercharging stations are currently located. As you can see, they mainly cover the east and west coast, but with 151 supercharging stations in North America. But there is a very large increase expected by the end of 2015. As you can see, international travel is currently not practical because Canada and Mexico have not been given the supercharging stations just yet. But with the large increase that will be expected, we should have more of the supercharging stations towards the central and mid-east parts of the United States. If you're in a hurry and cannot wait the 20 or 40 minutes to charge up the car, Tesla Motors does operate a battery swap at supercharging stations. This is a new program where you pretty much just walk in with your old battery, hand it to them, pay about $60 to $80, and they hand you one that's ready to go. The batteries are not very difficult to replace in these cars, and pretty much almost any one of us can do it in about 90 seconds, which is actually less than you probably spend filling up your gas-powered vehicle. Other considerations that you need to take in the road trip is you need to be aware of what kind of weather you may encounter along the way. These batteries are actually kind of sensitive to weather, and if you come across, say, a blizzard or extreme heat, you can actually reduce your driving range by about 33% and 60%. So this could be a danger if you're not near a supercharging station or if you didn't buy an extra battery pack to take with you. So much more planning is needed when taking a road trip in an electric vehicle. So now let's talk about Tesla's customer service. Tesla is one of the few cars that actually gets better from the day you buy it. So in the similar way that you get new iOS updates or new cosmetic features to your laptops or new features on your phone from the new software, the Tesla Model S also has routine software updates that can also give the vehicle new features or make it better looking, so you can personalize it to how you like on the inner 17-inch display screen. These updates can be installed either manually or automatically overnight, whichever you prefer. Another nice thing about the Tesla Model S is that it does perform self-diagnostics. What this can do is, if there's some sort of issue within the vehicle, it can actually notify, with your permission, it can notify a local Tesla technician so that he or she may contact you and ask you how you want to handle the situation. Really cool thing is that most of these issues can be remotely resolved and at the comfort of your own home. In addition, Tesla Motors offers service plans for an additional cost. These service plans include annual inspection, replacement of minor hardware such as your windshield wipers or brake pads, and 24-hour roadside assistance, and a valet service, which this valet service, if something major is wrong with the vehicle, they'll send out a technician to come and pick up your vehicle and seamlessly replace your vehicle with your loaner car. So a really nice thing is that Tesla Model S is very user-friendly. The really cool thing about electric vehicles is that they require very little maintenance. Oil changes and other major fluid maintenance are a thing of the past. The only fluid that you really need to keep up with is windshield washer fluid, which is very easy to do. You literally open and pour the fluid in when it's out. This is a very nice incentive for people who are not too car savvy or just really don't want to get involved with that business. Another nice thing is that the Tesla Model S does provide a nice, quiet, comfortable ride, but sometimes this ride could be a little too quiet. A recent problem that we've had is that there's people who cannot hear the car approaching, and for that reason, an artificial sound will soon be installed into these vehicles that will alert pedestrians of when a vehicle is coming. So now I'll pass this on to Mr. Eric Medina so that he may tell you about the environment and efficiency impact of the Tesla Model S.
Like Rafael said, my name is Eric Medina. I'm a mechanical engineer, and I specialize in thermodynamics. And we're going to be talking about the efficiency, and it's going to be more about Tesla versus your internal combustion engine, which is the more common vehicles have. And before I compare how amazing the Tesla is, I just want to start with how the internal combustion engine is low on efficiency. And before I can explain about that, let's look at the internal combustion engine. What I want to focus on is on this colored in area, which are the pistons, and each internal combustion engine actually follows a 4-stroke process. Now the 4-stroke process is the intake, compression, power, and exhaust. And your intake, the air and fuel come in, and then it's compressed, and then it's ignited by your spark plug at the power stroke. And then once it's ignited, all those gases and fumes that are left in the cylinder actually get out through your exhaust stroke. Now, in thermodynamics, we find that there's an interesting relationship in this. When we have a pressure versus volume chart, we find out that the energy that goes in and the energy that goes out. Now, this little line here just indicates what the air that's going into the center is coming from the atmosphere, and the air coming out is going out to the atmosphere again. So it's just indicating it's open system. But the most interesting part that gets to us is going to be the Q1 and Q2, which indicates the energy that goes in and the energy goes out. Now, in thermodynamics, we also have the first law, which tells you that whenever you have a system, whatever energy you put in has to come out. So the energy you're using on your vehicles is actually the energy out. And the laws I will talk about a little bit later. And when we're measuring the efficiency for internal combustion engine, the way we find this out is that you get the work that you get out divided by the work that you put in. And for most internal combustion engines, it's usually at 20 to 30%, and these numbers are based on the thermodynamics book for engineers, and it was written by Siegel. And the reason it's so low is that when those pistons are going, you have to convert that energy into the mechanical engineering that you need to make the car to go forward. Okay? And then, unfortunately, there is in internal combustion engines, the efficiency is low. I have some worse news for you. It does increase with time. So it increases with just neglecting it, with oil changes and all that stuff, just because it's so complex. And also with faulty sensors. Now, I'll give you an example on this. When I was an undergraduate student at UTA, in this winter semester, I decided to take my father's truck out instead of taking my own car to come to school. That night when I went home, the mass airflow sensor wasn't working. Now the mass airflow sensor, what it does, it tells the engine how much gas is going to go into your internal combustion engine based off how much air that's coming into the engine. But because my father's mass airflow sensor wasn't working, the truck started shaking very bad, and before I knew it, the efficiency went down to 0 and it turned off. And also, what also affects the efficiency is front end collisions. What happens is that if you have a front end collision and it hits the engine, what's gonna happen is that if you take it to collision repairs, they will usually just fix the cosmetic work. And if, like I said, if it hits the engine, what's gonna happen, you're gonna have to take it to a mechanic. A lot of times when you're under a collision, the mechanic might not fix everything because of cost. Sometimes it wasn't damaged so much that you might not want to replace it, but still, just those little damages will affect the efficiency on your vehicle. And last but not least, the time has to do with it too. As your car gets older, the efficiency goes low. So, and like I said, in thermodynamics, we have this first law that says whatever energy you put in is gonna have to come out. Now, over there you see capital E going out. That's the energy you want. But like I stated before, it's only 20 to 30% of the efficiency that you're actually using. Now, what happens to the other 70 to 80%? Well, it goes out to the loss, and that goes out to the environment. Now, internal combustion engines, based off lifescience.com, it was stated that transportation, such as vehicles and planes and cars, is the top source for air pollution, and this affects humans, animals, and plants. Now, our answer for today's air pollution from internal combustion engines is going to be your Tesla. The Tesla is very efficient, and it's based off a simple electric motor. Now, these motors are pretty small, and they're the size of a large watermelon. And they're simple. There's only one moving part that's going on in this motor, and that's what makes the car go. So you're going to get a higher efficiency. I mean, there's no converting energy or anything like that. And unlike the internal combustion engine, it's less likely that the efficiency is going to go down with time. And like I said, it's less components. So you don't have to worry about anything. And you only have one moving part. So that means that less components, less maintenance. And that's going to be less from you that you had to spend on the vehicle when it comes to maintenance and stuff. And the Tesla is also a very powerful car. It's a performance car, just like your regular muscle car, but it has a higher efficiency, and it's nearly at 90%, and it's sitting just at 88%. Now, the Tesla is efficient, and because of that, it's literally almost zero emissions. And I just want to focus here on the fuel economy, and it's rated at its best at the greenhouse and smudge ratings. And there is a downturn about this. Now, you can't see it, but in fine print it says do not include emissions from producing electricity, because that's one of the downfalls, that electricity that's used to charge these vehicles is actually caused by these power plants. And these power plants use spinning generators, and a lot of these generators types are steam turbines. And to make these go, you actually had to burn some fossil fuels. So Tesla did take this under consideration when making these vehicles. So what they did is that they made it 88% efficient, so that electricity that you're using to charge your vehicle is actually being used 88% of it. So that's pretty high. So in other words, with one 85 kilowatt battery that's fully charged, you're gonna get 265 miles. That's equivalent to running that same mileage on 3 gallons of gas. And like I said, it's a zero emissions vehicle. And the good thing about the Tesla is that it's 100% capable of using renewable energy. And with that being said, there's also other options for producing electricity, like solar panels, windmills, reservoirs, and geothermal energy. And with this being said, engineers today are trying to find out different ways besides these to get electricity. Now, with that And with engineers trying to work on this, there's going to be a higher demand of engineers. So that's going to have a big impact in the economy because there's going to be more job demands. So speaking on economy, my colleague Himak's going to talk about that.
Thank you, Eric. I'm Himak Yadav, like Eric said, and I've been working with Tesla for over 5 years now as an automotive financial analyst. So the Tesla is amazing. It gives you so much in such a small package. It looks like a beautiful car. It gives you all the performance that you need while also being so friendly to the environment. But I'm sure that all of you are still not convinced why you should buy a Tesla and are probably wondering, well, how much does it cost? Because that is actually the main thing. So talking about the cost, Teslas can be bought outright at $71,000 from a showroom. Now this is one of the big downside of owning a Tesla. It's high cost. But what happens is Tesla understands the cost and it offers you different options to buy the Tesla. So you can either pay outright as cash or loan it or even lease it. The leasing option by Tesla is actually very friendly. Tesla costs about $71,000. So if you have a down payment of 15% with a 3.5% interest rate, it will only cost you $1,100 a month for over 60 months. That is very comparable to most premium sedans. So instead of buying a BMW or an Audi, it will almost be the same price for a Tesla. And we are not the only ones who want you to buy the Tesla. The government wants it too. And hence, the government is offering you different incentives to actually go ahead and purchase the Tesla. So for example, the government gives you $7,500 in federal tax credit the moment you buy a Tesla. So the eventual price of your Tesla then comes down to about $63,000. And the financing options offered by Tesla and the government can actually make it a lot more affordable than it is. Moreover, Tesla is even ready to buy back your car after 36 months for 50% of the price. So you can actually buy a Tesla, use it for three years, and then sell it back to Tesla for 50% of the price. Teslas are very sensitive to depreciation. So what that means is that they have a very high resale value because their values don't go down easily. So you can actually get a lot for your money even after you're selling a Tesla after you use it. And talking about the government incentive. So for example, let's take Texas. The government is willing to offer you about $1,500 in credit if you buy an electric vehicle in the state of Texas. And more local governments are also taking incentives. So for example, in Austin, you can receive a credit for about $2,500 towards the cost of your vehicle. And it's not only in Texas. This is spread throughout the United States. So for example, in states like California and Illinois, you can get you can get a cheaper charging rate and other benefits like HOV lane access and free parking. Okay, now what happens when a gas meets electricity? How much can you actually save on Tesla? So to start with, I'll talk about how much you can save on fuel. Let's see. Let's compare Tesla to a regular sedan. So the cost of fuel is taken about $3.9 in California. Now fuel is going low now, but that wouldn't always be the case, and it's sure to go up. So taking the cost of fuel is about $3.9 and a mileage of 22, which is actually very good for a premium sedan. The cost of running 30,000 miles comes down to about $5,000. Taking the cost of electricity as 12 cents in California, the cost of running a Tesla would be about $1,000. So within 30,000 miles, you can save up to $4,000. And as the distance increases, the savings increase. So within 100,000 miles, you would be able to save more than $16,000. And in terms of time, within 5 years, you can save up to $5,000. So as you can see, this is a map of owning a gasoline vehicle as compared to a Tesla or electric vehicle. The cost of owning a gasoline vehicle increases over years, and it goes up exponentially. So it is much, much more cost efficient to own an electric vehicle or a Tesla compared to a gasoline vehicle. Now let's talk about maintenance costs. How much can you save on maintenance costs? The best part about Tesla is that it'll make you forget oil changes, smog checks, and spark plugs. And the best part is actually that it doesn't have much parts. So in your Tesla, it doesn't have spark plugs. You don't need a smog check. You don't need any oil check. And there are very, very few parts that you actually need to service. Like Rafael said, the few parts that you need to service is just fill up the washer fluid regularly. That can be done at the comfort of your own home. And then there are 6 other parts that include 4 tires and 2 windshields. There's another downside in owning a Tesla. The other downside includes that the tires, they tend to run out fast. Because the car weighs 4,500 pounds due to the battery, which will make the tires run out very fast as compared to other cars. And tires, they're always under duress due to acceleration and deceleration because of regenerative braking. But this is indeed good for the brake pads, because most of Tesla's stopping power comes from the battery itself. So you can save a lot on brake pads. Now Tesla understands that you will need new tires very often. So the tires of Tesla are very decently priced. They're usually $100 below the Michelin's list price, and even $30 below Tire Rack's price. Tire Rack is usually the cheapest you can find in the market. Okay, well, the reason behind that $1 million smile is Tesla's infinite mile warranty. Now what that means is that for 8 years, irrespective of the number of miles you have in your car, Tesla will service your car for free. And there is no limit on the number of owners. So even if you buy a reused Tesla from someone else, you still have the warranty until 8 years. And this will apply retroactively to all Model S, irrespective of when they were produced. So if you have a Tesla car, you can still avail the warranty. Now let's see what Tesla plans to do in the future and how it will affect the economy. So Tesla is planning on a Gigafactory. This Gigafactory will cost $5 billion. To start with, that is a lot of money. But it plans to reduce the cost of battery production by 50%. And Nevada governor predicts that it will bring about $100 billion, an economic impact of about $100 billion in the state of Nevada. This Gigafactory will create a huge impact in the economy by creating so many jobs. Let's see what kind of jobs it will create. Construction jobs. These are the basic workers needed to construct the factory. The governor's office put the estimate about 3,000 jobs. And then comes the direct jobs. Direct jobs will include workers that are employed directly by Tesla. And then the indirect jobs. These will be jobs like trucking companies and the companies which produce parts for Tesla. And then induced jobs. Now these workers working all these jobs will eventually have to go to Walmart for their groceries or go to restaurants or concerts, which will employ more people. And that counts as induced jobs, which puts the estimate to about 25,000 jobs just in the state of Nevada. The Gigafactory will actually help bring the price of Tesla Model 3 down. Now Tesla understands that their car is now meant for the premium market and it's expensive. And Tesla really wants it to go out to the masses and actually help the masses buy the cars. So it has actually introduced a new model called the Tesla Model 3, which is meant for masses. It would cost about $35,000 and it would give an average of 200 miles. This is one of the posts by Tesla Motors confirming that they're ready to produce new cars. It will take a while and come out in 2020. But it is something to look forward to. Let's see how much Tesla has actually spent in research and development. Now, Tesla went public in 2010, and since then it has spent over $200 million every year just in research and development. It is contributing to the economy in a huge way. Now, this research and development actually comes in handy when you have to make expensive technology cheap. To make a new car like the Model 3 cheap, they need to use a lot of money on research and development. Tesla has only been selling about 2,000 cars a month, which is not that much for a car company. Even though it is still a Wall Street dollar, the prices of stocks have been going up continuously since 2013, and that is when Tesla actually started shipping its new Model S. The stocks have continually risen the little drops that you can see are fluctuations due to the economy. The features Tesla offers is enough to make a young boy say, "Oh God, where has this car been? We really need this now." So the impact Tesla is making in today's world is a lot. But to sum up, Tesla is actually a revolutionary breakthrough, a car which has never been produced. It is literally unlike any other car in the last 100 years. Moreover, it plans to drive the new purpose economy. New purpose economy is not just about money. It's about creating an impact in the lives of people. And though prices now are significant, they are going down in the future. Moreover, they will also go down as the production volume increases. Initial costs that you have because of the Tesla, they can be offset by incentives offered by governments and by other savings that you can have in fuel and maintenance. Tesla is a descendant of the portable computing technology. It is not a descendant of the Detroit car-making factories. It is the cars what Amazon is to books and what iTunes is to the record industry. So, do you want to burn gas all your life or switch to Tesla and actually help save the world? Thank you.